Go.
Shabbat Shalom, Boker Tov, Good morning and welcome to Shabbat teaching this morning. We welcome everyone to the services and those who are here alive and well. Amen. And those who are joining us through Facebook live stream and through YouTube. Welcome everyone here. The announcements for this week, their Judaism 101 class at 2 o'clock this afternoon, and we will be talking about the purpose of creation. This is Judaism 101, the way of God, Derech Hashem, by Rav Lusaro, and so that will be this afternoon at 2 o'clock. Then Tuesday, May the 30th is Shavuot. That will begin. We will be having a Shavuot service, which will consist of liturgy, Simchat Torah. We will remove the Torah from the ark, and we actually get to dance with it. Everyone, we do like a line dance in which we circle around and we dance with Torah, Simchat Torah, the joy of Torah. What is this about? Well, it is about the wedding day of a bride. And what do we do on the bride's wedding day?
Carry her.
We carry her, we dance. We dance and we rejoice because the bride is married. And so that has to do with Shavuot, that we remove the scroll from the ark and we dance with her around the building. And so come and with great expectation for that, and then we'll have a short teaching, and we will also be having a meal afterwards. There is a sign-up list both here and on Facebook. So if you're going to join us, we would appreciate everyone's helping to supply the dinner, the food for afterwards. As well, Shavuot is concerning the Ruach HaKodesh, the coming of the Holy Spirit. The book of Acts, chapter 2, in the Brit Chadashah and the New Testament, and so these two, and we will be talking about that on Shavuot. What is the significance of the giving of Torah and the giving of the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, on the same date, the same anniversary, if you would. And so that will come then. So we invite you to that. That will be 8 o'clock Tuesday evening. It's late because we start late because we have to wait for the sun to set. And so when the sun sets, the new day begins. And so we'll start at 8 o'clock. Saying that, then there will be no advanced class this Wednesday night. No advanced class because of Shavuot. That will be in lieu of the advanced class. There will be a beginner's class Thursday night at 7 o'clock. We will be resuming the beginner's class. So I think those are the announcements. That anybody else have anything to add to that? Anything else? All right, if you would turn in Torah to Shemot chapter 19, Exodus chapter 19. We spoke to this last week concerning the marriage contract. That this is a brit. A brit, the word brit means covenant. It is translated frequently in the translations of the English translations of the Bible. It's translated frequently as testimony or testament. And this is why in Christianity the Bible is divided into two portions called the Old Testament and the New Testament. The Old Testament, the Old Brit, if you would, the Old Brit and the New Brit. In Hebrew, we call it the Brit. So we have the Brit. We call what would be called in Christianity the Old Testament. We call the Tanakh, which is a combination, an acronym for the Torah and the prophets and the writings. Torah, Nevim, Ketuvim. And so, Torah, Tit, Navim, Tan, Ketuvim, Ach, Tanakh. And so we call the scriptures the Tanakh. The term that the church uses for the second part, the story of Yeshua and following, they call it the New Testament. We call it Brit Chadashah. Brit Chadashah. Brit meaning covenant. Chadashah meaning new, but also meaning that it can be renewed. As we studied last week, that with each, there's more than just two covenants in the scripture. There are more than just two covenants. There are several covenants. And with each covenant, with each new covenant, God does not throw out the old covenant. He does not replace the old covenant. He simply expands and builds upon it. So you have a covenant with Adam, the Adamic covenant, the Brit Adam. God makes a covenant with Adam, which is what? You may stay in the garden and you may eat of all of the trees to your pleasing, except for the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And the day that you eat thereof, you shall surely die. That is a covenant. Saying, well, what is a covenant? It is a pact. It is a promise. He ate, and he died. And so all generations following him have also died. Did God do away with that covenant? Did God do away with that covenant? No. In fact, the scripture still tells us to this day, both in the Tanakh and in the Brit Chadashah, tells us what? The soul that sins shall surely die. The covenant is still intact. You see what I'm saying? God doesn't just throw it out. He builds on it. He made what is called Brit Noach, the covenant of Noah. He made a covenant with Noah, stating that he would no longer ever again destroy the world through water, but that he would consume the world one day with fire. Ish. In saying that, he did not do away with the Brit Adam, the covenant of Adam, but rather he expanded it and he built upon it, saying what? These are the things. He gave them 7 rules. What are called the Noahide laws. He gave to them these rules and says, this is the way mankind shall live. Along comes Abraham. And with him God makes a pact, saying, I choose you from all nations, and I will make a great nation of you. And from you shall come a people more numerous than the stars. This coming from an old man who is unable to have children. Did God do away with the great Noach, with the Noahide? No. He simply expanded on it and built on it. From there, he made a covenant with Moshe, what we call the Mosaic covenant. Did God do away with the Abrahamic covenant, the Brit Abraham, when did he throw out all of his promises to Abraham? When he brought Torah to Moshe, his covenant to Moshe, and Bnei Israel, children of Israel? No. He simply expanded on it. You see what I'm saying? With each covenant, God does not throw out the old covenant. He simply remakes it. He redoes it. And he builds and he expands. Now we have the Brit David, the Davidic covenant, where he promises that one will sit on the throne of David forever. Mashiach. Which Psalm 89 expresses, as we were reading this morning. Now when Yeshua comes along, as Mashiach, does he throw out all the other covenants? No. He says, what? Do not think that I have come to destroy Torah. I did not come to destroy it, to disannul it, to disavow it. I came to live it. He is the living Torah. This is the new covenant. This is the Brit Chadashah. Not that Yeshua throws out the Mosaic covenant, the the Torah. Not that he throws it out and does away with it, but what? He very specifically in Matthew chapter 5, he says, do not think I have come to do away with it. I have come to fulfill it. What does fulfill mean? It means, in the Greek there, it means to fill it out, to live it out. He is the living Torah, that he kept Torah with all of his life, with all of his being. He is the living example of you shall love Adonai Elohecha with all of your heart, with all of your might, with all of your soul, with all your strength. And you shall love your neighbor as yourself, which is Torah. That is the totality of Torah. If you want to say what is Torah in two simple statements, as one came to Rav Shammai and said to him, tell me Torah in one sentence. And Shammai took a stick and beat him. Said, get out of here. You're being foolish. He went to Rav Kilev and said to Rav Kilev, tell me Torah in one sentence. Standing on one foot. And Rav Kilev picked up his foot, stood on one foot, and said, you shall love Adonai Elohecha with all your heart, with all your might, with all your soul, with all your strength, and you shall love your neighbor as yourself. And all the rest is commentary. Saying, well, what does it mean, commentary? All the rest simply explains how you do that. This is what Torah is. Torah teaches us how to love God with all of our heart, all of our might, all of our soul, all of our strength, and how to love our neighbor as ourselves. All of Torah is dealing with that. How can God do away with that? Yeshua himself says what concerning these things? These are the greatest commandments. How would God do away with all of this? And so saying that God did not do away with each covenant, but he expanded on it. And all the Brit Chadashah, what we call the New Testament, all the Brit Chadashah is an expansion. How did he expand it? He lived it. He was the first human being to live Torah perfectly. And he disobeyed not one commandment. He never committed sin. He lived a perfect, a pure, and holy life before God, before his Father. He lived his life totally, fully, wholly, completely unto the Father. And he loved his neighbor as himself. This is the Rikasha. This is the explanation of it. And so we were speaking last week concerning verse 5. If you obey me and keep my commandments, you shall be to me a treasure. How that what? If qualification. Covenants are qualified. Contracts are qualified. In a contract, there is the part of the one and there is the part of the other. There is the responsibility of the one and there's the responsibility of the other. And you must fulfill your responsibilities. If you break your responsibility, if you do not fulfill your responsibility, if you do not fulfill your obligation, then the contract becomes null and void. However, with all of God's contracts to human beings, never does he insist on the signature of the human. When God made his contract with Abraham, when he made his covenant with Abraham, Abraham was not even awake. Hashem put him into a deep sleep and came to him. Abraham was as a man who is dead. Abraham took oxen and he split them in half and he put one on one side and half of it on one side, half on the other, with a path in the midst. And he lay down, and when he lay down, Hashem put him in a deep sleep as though he were dead. And then Hashem himself walked between making a covenant. Literally, the covenant was not with with Abraham, it was for Abraham. He made the covenant with himself. The covenant to Noach was not with Noach, but it was to Noach. I will never do these things to you again. And so here, and this is what the book of Ivrim, the book of Hebrews, speaks to, that when he could swear by no greater, why? There is no greater name than the name of Hashem, of Adonai. What greater name is there by which one can swear? Thereby when he could swear by no greater, what? He swore by his own name. Saying what? Anybody here been to court to testify, any of those kinds of things? And they make you stand before the judge, and you do what? You put your hand on the Bible, and you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Why? You're making a covenant between yourself and God that what you are going to speak is the truth. And because there is a higher authority, a higher power, by what name do you swear? The higher power. But when it comes to Hashem, what higher power is there? What higher power is there than the name of God? There is no higher power. There is no higher authority. There is nowhere for Hashem to go. There is no higher place for Hashem to go. Thereby what? When he makes a covenant, he must swear by his own name. For he is the highest. So what I'm saying is this. When God made covenant, he did not force Abraham. He did not force Noach, Adam. He did not here force Moshe to swear. He swore by his own name. What can you do to save yourself? What can you do to save yourself? Can you escape death? By any means of your own hand, can you escape death? No. There's nothing I can do to save myself. Here I am. "58 years old, pushing the big 6-0. I've already gone over the top of the hill. I'm coming down the other side and we're picking up steam. The wagon is rolling faster. And there's nothing I can do to slow it down. There is not a thing I can do to slow this down. There is coming a day where I will be at death's doorstep, and there's nothing that I can do to stop it. And the same goes for every person on this earth, including me. I do not have the power to stop this from happening. I love, let's see if I can find it real quick. I always forget where things are. It comes with going down the other side of the hill. You, Adonai, are mighty forever. ומקיים אמונתו לשני הפעם. Say, you are the reviver of the dead. You are greatly able to save. You sustain the living in loving kindness. You bring to life the dead with great compassion. You support the fallen, heal the sick, set free the bound, and keep faith with those who sleep in the dust. Who compares to you? Who is like you, O Master of mighty deeds? Who compares to you, a king who puts to death and restores to life and brings forth salvation? And you are faithful to revive the dead. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings to life the dead. You see, what I'm saying to you is this: what I am not able to do for myself, God will do for me. I cannot save myself. Saying what? There is no reason for me to sign on the dotted line because I have no power and no authority. None. Therefore, what I cannot do for myself, He does for me. Amen. He does that for me. I asked you a moment ago, can you save yourself? No. But what you cannot do, God does. Yeshua said unto her, remember the blessing, the bracha that I just read to you. Yeshua said unto her, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whosoever lives and believes in me shall never die. And then he asks her a most important question, which is asked to your heart and soul as well. Do you believe this? Do you have emunah? Do you have confidence in this? Say what? When I could not save myself, He by His own name and power and authority saved me. Saying what? It was Yeshua who sacrificed Himself and signed the contract with His own signature of blood. Do you hear me? You see, even in what we call the Brit Chadashah, we have what is called the rule of first mention, that when something is first mentioned in Scripture, it follows that pattern. And the first mention is what? That every covenant that is signed only by God and God Himself. God alone. Why? Because did Adam keep covenant? Did he keep the obligation? No. Did Noah keep the covenant? Did the followers, the people following Noah, did they keep their obligation to Hashem? No. Did the children of Abraham follow the obligation? No. They did not circumcise their children. Moshe himself had not circumcised his children when God called him. Did Bnei Israel, did the children of Israel, did they keep their obligations? No. Did the children of David, did Shlomo, Solomon, did he keep the obligations? No. He built temples to idols, to other gods. And it was because of his sin that the kingdom was rent in two. There are those who say, well, we can't do Torah. Why? Because we can't keep all of them. It's impossible. Well, that's a given. My goodness, Adam could not keep one. Chava could not keep one single rule. What was the rule? You shall not eat of the tree. How do I keep 613? Do you sin? Do I sin? Every day. Every day. This is why Tehillim in the Psalms, David HaMelech writes, Lord, forgive me for the sin unknown and the secret sin. And in another place he says, forgive me for the sin of my youth. There is not a day that goes by that we do not somehow, in some way, break one of the mitzvah, one of the commandments. That's not the point. So, my wife and I, my wife and I have been married 38 years. We've been in covenant with each other. It has been a good marriage. And I love her more today than I have ever loved her in my life. We are closer today than we have ever been in our lives. By the way, she's retiring this year from school. If you didn't see it on Facebook, give her your congratulations. She's worked 34 years in the school district, at first in San Benito and 17 years in Iran. So give her mazel tov for that. She gets to rest. But I'm telling you this because of this. Have I always been well-pleasing to her? Have there been times where I disappointed her? Upset her? Yes. This is the truth. Have there been times where she has always been pleasing to me, that she upset me, that she... Yes. I must say that her upsetting me have been fewer times than me upsetting her. I'm the bad guy. Not a joke. I'm the one who rocks the boat. But y'all already know that. Ed? You know it.
She's a strong woman.
She is a strong woman. She lifts weights every day. No. She's the man. Anyway, she is the smooth water sailing. That's her style. That's her type. Not much rocks her, shakes her. Saying we've been in covenant all of this time. Saying the reason why I'm telling you this is this: you're in that covenant with Hashem. Does this mean that you're always pleasing to Him? No. Do you disappoint Him? Absolutely. Every day. Every day I do things that would disappoint. Does He cast me away? No. Why? Hear me, I did not sign the contract. He signed it. Because He could not swear by my name. He swore by His own name. And it's not up to me. You say, this gives me the right to live how I please because He signed the contract by His own name. God forbid. This is what Rav Shaul is talking about in the book of Romans chapter 8. Romans chapter 7 ends with where sin abounded, grace did much more abound. Romans chapter 8 begins with these words, shall I continue in sin then? Shall I continue then in sin so that grace may abound? Heaven forbid. No. Do you not understand the price and the cost? It cost Yeshua his life to do this. How then can we who are alive unto Mashiach continue to live in our sin any longer? A man cannot serve two masters. He will either love the one and hate the other, or he will despise that one or he will love the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and Mammon. You cannot serve, that is often translated as money. You cannot serve God and money. Literally, you cannot serve God and yourself. You must choose. As Joshua spoke as he was leaving, preparing for his own death, getting ready his last speech to Bnei Yisrael, and he stood up and he said to them, what? Choose you this day whom you will serve. As for me and my house, we will serve Adonai. So, now, if you obey me, keep the brit. Keep the brit. Keep the covenant, and you shall be a special treasure. There are some million people living here in the valley. About 100,000 people here in the Harlingen area. Probably 500,000 between, I don't know, or more between Brownsville and Matamoros. Another 500,000 between Reynosa and Macau. How many people do you know attempt to keep covenant with Hashem, with God? Christian or otherwise, attempt to do all which he commands us to do. Amen. Not very many at all. Which will explain to you why we are in the situation and the circumstances we are in, even here in the valley. It used to be such a quiet neighborhood. This is what makes one rare. When one person steps out and says, what you speak, I will do. You know, we sing the song, Hine Matov, behold. There's a term called hineni. Everyone say hineni. Hineni. From the word hine. Hineni. It's a smashing together, a crashing together of the term hineani. Hine, meaning what? What did I tell you hine means? What? Hine matov, behold. Everyone say behold. Behold. Hine, behold. Ani means I or me. Everyone say ani. Ani. Means what? I or me. So hineni means what? Behold me. Saying what? This is what you say when the teacher is taking roll in school. And we say, Rachel, and you say what? And I say, Charity, and you say what? And I say, Richard, and you say what? Here. But in Hebrew you say what? In Hebrew you say, Hineni. If I say Joshua, you say Hineni. If I say Raul, you say Hineni. Okay? If I say Gary, you say Hineni. Everyone say Hineni. Hineni. Say, here I am. Here I am. This is to be our response to God. Hineni. This is what the prophet said. Ishayahu, Isaiah the prophet said, when the scripture says that Hashem was looking over the heavens, looking over the earth, saying, whom shall we send and who will go for us? And Ishayahu Hanavi said, Hineni, here I am. Who will keep my covenant? Who will follow Torah? Hineni. But you see, how many Isaiahs do we have? How many people do we have around us who are willing to step out and say, I choose to live a life that is holy, pleasing unto God? That I will not be self-serving, but I will be the Eved El Elyon. I will be the Eved El Elyon. I will be the servant of the Most High. Understanding this, that the slave does not make demands on the master. And the slave has no will of their own. That's what the word Eved means, a servant. As we have taught here many times before, it is from this word Eved, servant, that we get our word avodah. They say the second part of the standing prayers where we come back out loud again is called avodah, which means, is translated to English, usually is translated with the word worship. But the word avodah comes from the word Eved, slave. You see, what in our Western mind we consider to be worship and what is going through the Jewish mind is completely different. To worship God is to be in His service, to be a slave to Him. This is literally what it means. The understanding of it. That I am to be in the service of Hashem. That I am His slave, I am His servant. You see, we are literally here not to be blessed. We're here this morning. This whole thing, this is about avodah, this is about service. We're here not to be blessed by God. He blesses us all day, every day. We are here for at least one day out of the week to what? To bless Him. So what? All of the brachot of the liturgy are what? Baruch atah Adonai, Baruch atah Adonai, Baruch atah Adonai, Baruch atah Adonai. Blessed are you, blessed are you, blessed are you, blessed are you, God, Lord God, King of the universe. And so I'm saying, how many of us here are willing to step out from the crowd and say, He did. Take me. Yours. By the way, is this not what a bride says to her husband on their wedding night? Take me. I am yours. As Rav Shaul writes to us, in 1 Corinthians that the body of the bride does not belong to herself, but belongs to whom? The husband. And the body of the husband does not belong to himself, but belongs to whom? The bride. Saying what? Do you not know that your body does not belong to yourself, that your body is what? The temple. The Beit HaMikdash, the temple of the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit. Whose you are, to whom you belong. That is, that your body belongs to Mashiach. It does not belong to yourself. As he continues, you are not your own, for you have been bought with the price. You have been paid for. What? The bride price. The dowry has been paid on your behalf. Therefore, being married to Mashiach, being the bride of Mashiach, is it not for us to say to the one who has right to say to him, Hineni, here am I am yours, take me. Is this not appropriate and proper? You see what I'm saying? What I'm saying is this: who among us is willing to stand out from the crowd and say to God, Hineni, here I am, take me, I'm yours, wholly and completely, nothing held back, nothing held back. Verse 7, Moshe came and summoned the elders of Israel and placed before them all these words that Adonai had commanded him. And a beautiful passage here. Ve'anu kol ha'am yachdan vayomru Kol asher diver Adonai na'aseh leyasher Moshe et divrei ha'am et Adonai. The people. It says, when it says, Vayanu, and replied, Kol, all, ha'am, the people. Listen to this, Yachdo. Yachdo. Do you get the significance of that? Everyone say, Yachdo. Yachdo comes from the word Yachid. Saying one. It is from the word Yachid, one, that we get the word Echad, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Elokeinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, Adonai our God, Adonai is one. But Echad is distinguished from Yachid. Yachid is the literal single unit, where Echad is a singular plurality. as in Yam Echad. Am Echad, one people. When I use the term people, singular or plural, come on, stay with me. When I use the word people, is that singular or plural?
Plural. Depends on context.
Yes. The answer is yes. Singular, as in one group, plural, as in many parts to the group. Do you see what I'm saying? That is Echad. This is the term that Hashem used when He puts Adam and Chava together, when He creates them, and He says, for this cause a husband shall leave his mother and his father and shall cleave unto his wife, and the two of them, how many?
Two.
Plural or singular?
Singular.
A group of singulars.
So, a man and a woman, how many? Singular or plural? Someone didn't have their coffee this morning. He says they shall be joined together. Echad. Well, they have to be joined together first. You take two to make one. Please go back and look at the Facebook video of a few weeks ago, the Judaism 101 class, Yachid versus Echad. It's only an hour, and you will learn much about understanding Hashem in His singular plurality. But what we're saying here is this, not getting into that discussion. But what we're saying here is this, the reason why I'm bringing you down this road is because Echad has a distinguishing characteristic from Yachid. Yachid being the singular, the absolute one. No plurality involved here. Whereas Echad is singular, but it has a plural context to it. Saying that there are many parts coming together as a unit. So, the word Yachdo here, the Ya'anu kol ha'am Yachdo. They replied, all of the people, Yachdo coming from Yachid. Yeah. Not Echad, but Yachid. Translated here, I don't know what your versions have. This is the Chabad translation. It says in unison. So what do your translations say? And all the people replied in unison. We're in verse 8.
We will do everything the Lord said.
Excuse me?
We will do everything the Lord said.
Yes, but that first part where it says, and all the people replied in unison.
Together or as one.
Together or as one. This is the significance of Va'anu Kol Ha'am Yachdo. Yachdo, the suffix do, the vav there, giving it a singular masculine context. The word Yachid, one, as one. What the Hebrew is reading here, the significance of this is that the people replied as a single man. Not in marriage context, but as though it was one man speaking. So when you read this, when you read it, you see this is what we lose in the translation, that when you read it in English, that they all replied together or in unison. What the Hebrew literally says is that they all replied as one single man. Not Echad. Not as a group of people speaking together. That would be echad. But as though only one man were speaking. It is as though one man stood forward from the crowd and said this, spoke this. You understand what I'm saying? So it is as though they drew straws and said, you go talk to Moshe and you tell him this is what you're going to tell Moshe. Everything that he says, we will do.
So it's not like in those martial arts movies where the whole army answers as one. I don't know if you've seen those. When they get an order from the commander and
yes.
everyone says a whole sentence together.
Wait.
I'm jumping right now.
No, it's okay. It is, and this is why, be careful with what I'm saying here. Listen very closely to what I'm saying. It is as though one single man stepped forward and said these words. This is the significance of Yachdo. And he, the one, said. It's literally what it's saying. This man, so to speak, in effect, this man said all that he says we will do. But this is a strange rendering. This is a strange grammatical rendering in Hebrew. Because what have we learned in grammar class? In our advanced class, what have we learned concerning what you do to one side, what? You must do to the other. Saying what? If one side is singular, the other side must also be singular. If one side is plural, the other must also be plural. If the one side is male, masculine, the other side must be masculine. If the one side is feminine, the other side must be feminine. Here we have a grammatical problem. The rabbis speak to this because it says, Ha'am Yachdo. The people. He said. Saying what? We're going Ha'am, people. Talking about all of these thousands of people. Is that singular or plural in this context?
Plural.
This is a plurality. Watch. Yachdo. From many to one. So yes, it was as though the general gave a command and the whole army says the same thing word for word as one man. Now there's an important reason why we're going through this. And we'll just be me. The rabbis speak to this, the rabbis say to this. The reason why they spoke Yachdo, a single man stepped forward, so to speak. All of the people said the words, but it was as though a single man stepped out and spoke these words. As one. Because in this moment there was absolutely no doubt in the people's minds. In anyone of this camp. At this very point, they were like this. Thank you. At this very point, at this very moment, when Moshe comes back with this word from Hashem, the hearts of the people cleave together, tight-knit, inseparable. That the reason why the term Yachdo is used here instead of Echad, the reason why the term Yachdo is used here is because at that moment the people were of one heart, one soul, one spirit, one mind. It was as though it were one person. standing before Hashem. This should give to us. We love to sing that song. As one, yachad, not echad, yachad. Behold how good and pleasant it is when people dwell together as a single unit. That's what you're singing. Dwelling together with the same heart, the same soul, the same spirit. As one. As one. When we were singing the last song that we sang this morning, could you feel the Spirit rising? I noticed that when we were singing that song, the sound got louder. I noticed that the enthusiasm picked up. There were people singing I hadn't heard sing for a while, and there were people singing who I probably have never heard singing. Why? Because that song, the words and the music touched our heart, and we became one. The Spirit was moving in our heart and our soul, and we joined together. We became a knit group, a knit people, one single person praising God from our hearts. And I'm closing with this: cherish those moments, because they don't happen all the time. But this is the way it's supposed to be. It is the wedding night, when the bride presents herself to her husband and says, Hineni. When the bride presents herself to her husband and she says, here I am. Take me. I'm yours. And the rabbis tell us that when that event takes place, this is truly when the man and the woman, two separate identities, become echad, become one unit together. And so it is when we present ourselves to Hashem, when we step out and say, Hineni, here I am, take me, I'm yours. It is in that moment when the tefillah Yeshua, the prayer of Yeshua, becomes fulfilled. I and the Father at one. And as he prayed there in the garden, he said, what? You are within me, and I am within you, and we are within them, and they are within us. What? Echad. We are one. And so it is. And so, Raul, if you would close in prayer, please.
Father, we come before you, thank you and praise your name for having brought us here together to worship, to learn, to understand, to elucidate. I ask again that you strengthen each of us as we go out into the rest of the week, that we carry with us the memories of what we've heard here today, that we put into practice the things that you would want us to practice in front of others, that we may be a light for you in their darkness. I ask this in the name of your Son, Yeshua HaMashiach. Amen.
Let's all stand for the benediction of Aaron. If you would lift up your hand. Yodeka Adonai ve'yishmerecha, Yair Adonai p'nei v'lecha, v'yikunecha, Yisar Adonai p'nei v'lecha, v'yasem lecha, Shalom. May Adonai bless you and keep you. May Adonai shine his face upon you and be gracious to you. May Adonai lift up his countenance upon you and give you his peace from Safka Shalom Yeshua Mashiach, from the Prince of Peace, Yeshua the Messiah, the Imru. Amen. Shabbat Shalom.